The first couple. So, Vinny. No, we don't need those. That's
backup. But there we are. So, Vinny, I think you're on. We can't see you, but
which is good.
Yeah, James is on. Vinny. Hang on a second, James.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, my friend. You go on. You kick off.
I'll start video as well. You can see me. I'll ruin your day for you. There we go.
There we go.
Jurgen, we'll start with team news first of all. Obviously, we know that Nat Phillips can't play after his man of the match performance at the weekend. I'd imagine that Rhys Williams then obviously wants to take the opportunity as well to show again what he can do. But is this more an occasion for experience? So you're giving Joel Matip every chance to prove his fitness? And also, how are Thiago and Keita? How ready are they?
About 12 questions, if I'm right. So, Naby and Joel trained yesterday fully. And I didn't do any decisions yet because we are still only 2 days after the game, and we have to wait pretty much until the medical department gives us green or orange or red light, pretty much, and so we wait. So, but we have in this moment more centre halves available than we probably will line up together. So, which is good. Well, and Naby trained as well. Yeah.
I also want to ask you about Diogo Jota. I'm looking at the stats and seeing that Mo scored 6 in his first 9 appearances at the club. Sadio scored 4 in his first 9 appearances. And now obviously Diogo scored 4 in his first 9 appearances. So what level do you feel that he's reached already? And I suppose how much trust do you have in him already?
He's good. So how players actually should be when they join us. He's in the best age, 23, already experienced, played a lot of Premier League football, made his way up in Portugal. So it's a really good boy and a really good signing. So that's the situation. And we never hold players back in the beginning. It's just that players usually need time to adapt. But I knew before that will not take too long for him because of the way Wolves is playing. As they play a different system, but the intensity level for Wolves was always incredibly high. There might be only one player who has to defend slightly less, but not really a lot less, but slightly, is Jimenez. But the boys on the wings, whatever, they had to run like crazy. So it was clear physically he will be fine. Technically, we saw he is good, and all the rest is then about, finding your feet pretty much in a new environment. And the boys make it always easy for new players. And Diogo is a very good guy. So he's really open. His English is brilliant. So it means it was easy for him to step in the team, in the squad, in the dressing room if you want. And now he played. Of course, he was involved in games, but like they all will be involved in games. So it's special. I said Shaq played an incredibly important role as well. Had a difficult time, so that's the same. Has the same importance for us, and that all the others stay fit is incredibly important. So it's good that we have more than 11 who look like they have a good shape in the moment.
Thanks, Jurgen.
Well, welcome.
Thank you, Vinny. Then we'll go to James from TalkSport, and after James, we'll start going through the list that we have with the hands raised with Carl Markham. But for now, James, TalkSport.
Jurgen, sitting at the top of the Premier League table, 100% record so far in Europe. Just how proud are you of the way your side has responded to the number of setbacks you've already had so far this season?
I don't feel pride in the moment, to be honest. It's just we are in a situation and we have to deal with it, like all have to deal with it. The whole world has to deal with the situation. And so, no, it's what I expect from us. But I'm not. I think we have to be a little bit careful. Like around the Arsenal game, we were running away in the league. Then we got a proper knock. It's not be careful for us. So we are fine. We know where we stand. It's just in a judgment from outside. Then we lost at Aston Villa, obviously pretty clear. Found our feedback. Got other setbacks in the league with injuries, these kind of things, and it's like it is always. We always had injuries before. We always had to deal with the situation. That's what we do now. But look, it's really early in the season, so I don't think we should think too much about where we stand in the different competitions. I think we do pretty well with just being focused on the next game. And the next one is for sure so far the biggest challenge in the Champions League, because Ajax is a challenge as well, Midtjylland of course as well, but Atalanta, with all what they did now in the last 2-3 years, is a really settled team and difficult to play against, very special in their approach, slightly similar to Leeds, let me say like this, organization wise and these kind of things, so it will be a tough one.
And Jurgen, can I just ask you quickly about Mohamed Salah, because he has received some criticism in recent days because of the way he won the penalty. Do you think that criticism is fair?
No, I don't know what people need what can I say? Look, it was a foul. I think it was pretty much by everybody who saw the situation, saw it. Believe it or not, yesterday morning I spoke to Mo about how he feels, and he has exactly 3 proper knocks on the foot, and one of them is from the penalty situation. That's how it is. So there's a knock, and then you go down or not, whatever. Sometimes the refs whistle it. We don't talk that long about penalties we don't get, to be honest, in other games. But then obviously now 3 days or 2 days after the game we talk about that, and there was clear contact. So what can I say? No, I don't understand the criticism.
On to you. James, we'll probably come back to you for a question when Trent's here. Carl Markham for a question or two to you, Jurgen. Carl.
Hi, Jurgen.
Hi, Carl.
Hi. Can I just ask you about the re-emergence of Shaqiri? We didn't see much of him sort of second half of last season, but this season he's already had a major impact, and the role he's sort of playing, I think we generally thought of him as being a winger, but the 2 passes he's made to help those last 2 goals have shown something different to his game.
Oh no, Shaq can play the wing, has everything for that, but is a creative player, played for Switzerland on the 10, so they know a lot about football there, so they wouldn't bring him there if they think he's better in another position. So Shaq is a versatile offensive player, played for us on obviously the 8 wing and now 10 when he came on. That's all the positions he can play. Yes, he wasn't not involved for disciplinary reasons or whatever. He was injured, unfortunately, and sometimes players have a bad run with injuries. That's what he had. It's not that he was that often injured, but yeah, the calf made some problems. Now everything is fine, and but just good for him and even better for us, because we missed him last year in a lot of moments in the last season, and it's not that we wanted to let him or keep him out of the team. He's a good player, a really good player who had a massive impact in pretty much all the games he played. Was part of some of the biggest games in our common history. So just happy to have him back.
On that front, I mean, the fact he's now back and playing, I think when he wasn't playing and he missed a lot of games last season, there was speculation about whether he would be able to have a future at the club. But the fact that he's playing and contributing suggests that he's almost got a fresh start for you.
That's how it always is. That's how it always is. The transfer window is there for rumors, for sometimes for talks, not all the time, but always for rumors. And we are barely involved in these kind of things. So whatever happened out there, I'm not even aware of. But I'm now really happy that he's here, and all the rest will start again in 4, 5, 6 weeks. I don't know exactly when the next transfer window it will be open again. So we will see, but nothing really to say about. That's the last transfer window feels like it's 4 years ago.
Okay, the last 2 questions as it stands to Jurgen Klopp will be Per from TV2 Norway, and then we'll finish with Nate Williams unless there's any final hands I got. Per, over to you first of all.
Hi Jurgen. Just wondering about Atalanta. They really impressed in the Champions League last season. How good are they in your opinion, and what do you make of the journey they had over these last few years?
Very good, very good. Top players, top recruitment. Very, very well organized. Play their system with 100% conviction, so they know exactly what everybody has to do. They use the skills of the individuals in an incredibly smart way. So you can exactly see how they use the strikers, how they use the strikers in different ways. You can see Gomez role in midfield, which is completely free, floating, whatever, genius, running everywhere around, make it really difficult to catch him. There's a lot of impressive developments of the players as well. So with Gosens, is one player, he plays, is now German international. Before he played that role at Atalanta, I'm not sure a lot of people knew about him. So that's just one example. And so they have a lot of these kind of stories, and they are obviously they have in the team a really good atmosphere and in general and a good mood and a proper fighting unit. So I was last year not surprised. Of course, I didn't know too much about Atalanta before it started, but before the season started. But I knew about the role they played, obviously in Italy, which was the qualification and for the Champions League. But in the Champions League, absolutely. But the last season was a good one as well. So we know how difficult the last season was for everybody, and for sure in Bergamo it was not easier. In the beginning, for sure, more difficult. So and they deal with the situation, all these kind of things. So they have all our respect. And so I know how good they are. It was actually I enjoyed the analysis. I enjoyed watching them because it's really interesting. And how always in life, if you see something interesting, you should try to learn a little bit of it, and that's what we always try. But in this case, for sure, it's possible for us.
Okay, final two questions to Jurgen Klopp will come from Nate Williams, and then we'll finish with Lewis Gibson. Can those of you who will want questions to Trent, obviously we'll ask in a moment for the hands-up mechanism for that. But first of all, Nate.
Hi Jurgen, my question is about Diogo. He's been really good coming off the bench and scoring goals recently. Another player that did that not so long ago was Divock Origi, but whenever he started, he didn't seem to have the same effect. So my question to you is, what is the difference between, why are players different in scoring off the bench to the ones that start, and what convinces you to give those bench players a starting place?
First and foremost, maybe we should not forget that Divock Origi had really good games when he started. He started against Barcelona, he started against Everton, scored spectacular and very important goals. And for sure not the only two games where it worked out, but maybe the two most famous. The difference is between starting and coming from the bench is so many differences. I'm not sure we have the time to figure that question 100% out. But it's one is the player before a game gets much more information. Who starts the game gets much more information than the player who is coming on as a sub, because it's just a question of time. You stand there and you try to give the most important information, but not all of them. But it's about coming in, finding rhythm, being directly spot on, these kind of things. And then, but not a lot of pressure, because the boys sit outside and then look at that. Sometimes it's now not in a Divock case or in a Diogo case, but sometimes when a player starts a game, he has a full night at least to deal with that, to realize that he will start the next day and all these kind of things. So yeah, there are plenty of differences, but most of them are personal. So what are you doing? But it's never forever. That you struggle with it or not. It's just like a learning process. Both of it. Coming on is not easy, and starting a Premier League game when you are fresh, new, and want to convince the whole world, then that's all. There's a lot of pressure involved. So that's why players sometimes perform slightly under their usual level.
Fantastic. And then last question for Jurgen Klopp is from Lewis Gibson, and then if people would start using the hands-up mechanism for Trent, that would be great. Yes, Lewis Gibson.
Good morning, Jurgen.
Hello.
Back to Atalanta. Last season, they scored 95 goals in Serie A. It's the most in 60 years for an Italian side. Obviously, Liverpool were second in the most goals scored last year in the Premier League. How do you plan on tackling that? And are you going to change your game plan from what you would normally set up?
In general, in football, it's always like this. You sometimes you have to defend the situation in the last moment when with a block or a goalie save. That's absolutely okay. But always when a team is really good in creating finishing moments. So when they score 95 goals, they have for sure much more chances. So that means these kind of situations where you have to try to to deny them, if you want. That you just have to make sure that the players who are usually finishing off the situations, that they don't get the ball that often. That you can do that, because that's something you can do together. The block is one player, the save is one player, all the rest is for 11 players, and that's why we work on that pretty often, to be honest, and that's the match plan. That would not be different in any situation. So it's, how I said, we respect that, and they are a threat. And again, the Midtjylland game was really a top example for how they are. Even on a not sunny, shiny day, whatever, they score 4 goals. So that was quite impressive, and we are aware of it. And until tomorrow, we have time to make sure that we can deal with it.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jurgen.
Welcome.
As I say, thank you very much. That's that. First part of the presser done. If you guys can stay there.